We have had just a really, really strong quarter and a really strong half year. So, as you say, we've been up 20-30% across the board. It has been most of our client groups, most of our markets, most of our product areas. And off the back of that, a 50% increase in the interim dividend, our second $1 billion buyback, and a 10% target now for the ROTE, which has been in our sights for a very long period of time. And that, hopefully, if we deliver that at the end of the year, will be the first time since probably 2013, I think. So a very, very strong half to the year.
ROTE 10% plus, is that... I mean, look, I'll be brutally honest with you. That looks like the middle of the range of the numbers I've been seeing this week, speaking to a lot of the ladies and gentlemen in the banking C-suite as well. Do you want to get it higher? Do you have aspirations for a mid-teens kind of level?
We do, absolutely. So 10 is not a stopping point. 10 is onwards and upwards. But in the context of a few years ago that we were 0, 10 is a great print. But no, absolutely. We said 11 for the year after, and then we'll build up there afterwards.
Yeah, it's double what I saw from the worst of the bunch this week, I can assure you. I did see it. I think it was a 5.4 from our German friends. Yeah. So look, what is the business mix looking at the moment? Where are you seeing the most exciting opportunities? Where do you have the problems?
So roughly 2/3 of our business is with corporate clients and a third is with our consumer retail clients. We have got the bigger profit contribution from the former, but the highest actual return on equity coming from the latter. We have seen very strong growth in some of our Asian markets. So in China is very interesting. We have seen in-country about 5% growth in our income in China. But the cross-border activity we're doing between China and other countries is up nearly 60%.
60.
So a huge amount of cross-border activity in the Northern Asia region. But that having been said, our Africa Middle East region is now also returning a 15-16% ROTE. So this really has been across the board. These numbers have got very few issues sort of sitting anywhere in detail in them.
I've asked you this before. What is going on in China? And it's very difficult for you to comment on the concerns about China in many ways when you're seeing 60% increase in cross-border trade with China and a 5% increase in business domestic as well. You're the first person I've spoken to who isn't in the EV sector who says something positive about China.
OK, well, I'm very glad to be the second person to say something very positive. No, I mean, the internal economy obviously is still slow, but we're not a bank for the average Chinese member of the population. Yeah. We are very much there, import, export, enabling the renminbi, doing the things which are of that nature. The government is really wanting to push both of those, so it's we've got the government sort of on our backs, and the growth is there. We've got a lot of corporate clients are looking at where they can position themselves. Usually, not always, in other Asian markets. We are in other Asian markets, so we are just seeing a huge amount of activity.
That's fantastic, and that's genuinely good news. Yep. But having said that, do you acknowledge or can you see the concerns of others dealing with China? For instance, I mean, you talk about that cross-border. That's so... I almost want to get you on with the CEO of Maersk, because when I ask them about the trade, they're saying, it's really disappointing.
Yeah. Well, I can only talk for our sector and what we see, So it is very strong at the moment. We're very well positioned. We're a small niche player, but we do our niche well.
How easy is ease of business doing in China at the moment? I see a lot of spin-offs. I'm speaking to someone later on who just finding it quite hard to do business in China, and they're going to spin off their operations locally. They're under a little bit of pressure to do so, I believe, as well. But for you, you're getting the green light, business as usual. In fact, business, the authorities wanting to grow, yeah?
Yeah, it is a huge country, and it is a country where you need to know how the country works. And fortunately, for a bank, we have been there 160 years without interruption. We have an almost exclusively Chinese management team in the country who are super well connected, do a great job there. So I think this is a country where if you are well connected, you can do very well. We are well connected, we do very well.
Okay.